Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hometown Cable. Our show is called What's Going On Here. I'm Bob Venn, Calvin Costine with the camera, and if you were with us the last 2 weeks, you know this smiling man from Shazy, New York is Staff Sergeant Peter Garnett. He's a historian here at the Plattsburgh Air Force Base, and we're going to do the third segment today in and around this tower. We're going to be we're looking at the hangar, we're going to be looking at the flight line, the other side of the flight line, going to show us the control tower. So please stay tuned, and we hope you enjoy this. And if you have any comments, Hometown Cable, 1477 Ridge Road, Calvin Castine. Give him a call, drop him a note. While you're sending the note, before I'll tell you early in the show, send $12 or more, become a patron. This is going to be a good part of the show today. We're going to show you about everything else that we can possibly show you at the Plattsburgh Air Force Base. And Peter, any opening remarks for today's show?
Well, it's a little cooler today. No, we're going to have a good show. This is fun.
Good. Okay. We will be back. Hi. We hope you haven't been gone very long, but we have. It's a week since we were last here, and we're standing just off the flight line. There's the water tower. Is that what that is?
The water tower, yeah.
Okay, Peter. That's the water for all the base?
Yep.
You got it from the city, or did you have your own well?
Yes, it comes from the city.
From the city. Okay. What we've done, there's the tower we were up in, over to our left, the huts, yeah, and then part of the runway. We've moved over to a new area, which is a
new day.
And a new day, yes. I'll tell you this, a new temperature too, Peter.
Yes,
We've got jackets on today. There's probably 30-degree different from when we were here last Thursday. The sun is gone.
It's fall.
It's fall. And this is operations what?
This is pavement and equipment operations. And another term it's used is the snow barn. All of our snow equipment is maintained in this building, and you'll see it very shortly.
We're going to get in this building. This is one of the buildings that's not sealed up, and they'll probably be using it very soon. So they left all this equipment here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, this building is fully operational, and like I said, you'll see the snow equipment in a moment.
Now, is this run by civilian personnel or by military?
Most of the folks are civilian.
Okay. Even back then, too?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move in. We're talking, of course, it seems like a long time, but this is Peter Garnett. You don't see his name on here today, but he's still the same Peter.
We both sound terrible. I think we both are dying here of colds.
We sure didn't get it last Thursday. It was real nice here, and our other man is out of the service now, our Lieutenant Colonel.
Yes, he retired on Thursday.
Okay.
He retired the day we talked to him.
Okay, that's how fast things are happening here. What are those units over there? Do you know?
The trailers?
Yes.
They're just storage trailers.
Storage for
anything.
Anything you want.
Anything.
God, I ought to buy some of those to put in my yard, Calvin. I have to talk about those. They're on wheels. You don't need a permit for those.
Look at him. You can tell that he's been doing this, right? Has he been following
he's been following us around.
Yeah.
Last Thursday we were here for about 6 hours. And we come into the building and we met him in. He had his name on him too, but it's gone. His name is Patrick Brennan,
yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about Pat Gordon.
What is your title, Pat? What do you...
I'm a heavy equipment operator, welder, and stuff like that.
Okay, who's in charge here? Are you in charge here?
No, this belongs to Pat Gordon as our supervisor here.
Okay. You are a civilian employee?
I'm a civilian employee.
And how long have you been at the base?
22 years.
Aha, what are you going to do? You'll still be operating, probably?
We'll be operating for Park, the redevelopment portion of the base.
You only do the runway. You don't do the roads around the base.
We do everything.
Oh, you do?
This is your heavy construction and everything. You do aircraft, your cleaning of the airfield and your grounds maintenance, everything.
So you do it summer and winter. You're doing something summer also on the grounds.
All year round.
How many people do you have in the department?
We've had a high number in the 30s and we drop in the summer to, not including the grounds, there's about 8 operators and things like that. Over the years, as the base moved into a slow process, our numbers deleted through attrition. So.
You from the Plattsburgh area originally?
Yes.
You found a home here, huh?
I found a home here.
You'll still be working, you expect?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how many plows do you have?
We have probably 9 like this.
9 like this?
Oh, yes. This is the rollover.
Called the rollover?
Yeah, RO10. And this chute will go either direction. You can shoot it either way. If you're going
either
down,
side.
yeah, it'll throw the snow in either direction, whichever way you want to move it.
It's out of position right now. This comes down onto the ground,
Oh, sure.
much like this one over here.
Right. No, that is,
But I mean, it's in that kind of an angle, and then the snow shoots out the
chute right there.
The chute
It
off to the
blows it.
side.
It's just like a street plow, a big street plow. You've seen them work. So,
Okay, look, he's going to do it sideways. He's going to show you how it really looks. Look, he's got
there we
it
go.
twisted around.
I could probably start it for you and turn it down if you want, but
Could you do that?
Sure.
That would be very nice if we could see that.
And
Let's
this
see
is
how
the
this works. We're going to see. Pardon?
this is the underbody. That moves either direction. That follows the chute.
So that scrapes.
It scrapes. And it also helps you stop in some conditions, believe me.
What do you mean stop?
It's very glary out there at times.
Oh.
The brakes don't always work.
Look at the size of these tires. Now that's a great unit. You don't see one of these around the county except right here.
Now, I'm going to start her up, so you better watch your ears.
Okay, stand by. There you are. It'll go either way, and it goes right on down, and it shoots the snow out the side. Patrick Brennan in the truck showing us how this works. A great piece of equipment right here. I'll tell you. So when they turn around at the other end, they just change the plow. You're seeing it right here on Hometown Cable. Thank you very much, Pat.
As you can see, it's a powerful unit.
It sure is.
It's what you need for flight line clearing. You can't get by it. It's very necessary.
Does each person have their own tractor with the plow? Each person's responsible, or do they get anyone that's available?
We are usually assigned one. We try to keep the same one so we can keep it up and things.
So you could be out there for hours at a
You're
given
there
storm,
8 hours minimum.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, you spend your whole shift in one of these. That runway is quite it's big.
Oh yes. So you run 7 or 8 one behind the other?
We have what you call a parallel, what you call the freeway, and what you call the runway. And you'll have a crew on the runway that might consist of 4 of these and 2 sweepers that we don't have in here, and maybe one like this.
What's the difference between these two?
This is a multi. It's called a multi-purpose, and it's called that because you can change this plow, this type of plow. You can change it to the blower, or they make a sweeper attachment. It's a great big broom that goes to the front of this. As you can see, this is a quick disconnect. This whole portion disconnects from here. This plow will come right off. And we could attach a sweeper, or we can almost attach anything. A big broom, or we put a blower head on this. And it's quite nice.
There's no county that would have one of these for the
Airport.
airports only.
Airports.
Airport. Look at how this pivots on here.
Yeah. You get
This whole unit.
It throws the snow either direction, and that makes it so nice for an operator because he doesn't have to go down one way and then go way around and come back down again the same way. You can cast either way.
Right. You can see it's got tires too. You got a set of tires on either side.
That adjusts the weight on the portion of this big blade here. You adjust your weight, how close you get to this. See right here?
Okay.
So if it's too much weight, you have a tendency to when you hit a crack or something, it might send you through a windshield. So and it also adjusts the wear on this that's a very expensive bunch of blades right here, these sections.
How old, till you replace those, right? You can replace just the blade. How, you can see you don't hit many stones or anything. There's no beds or anything like that.
Our runway is very clear. We maintain it quite well. It's free of any debris.
You know about how old a unit like this is?
It
Or any
says
of these?
on the, it'll say on the plate, the first numbers
Uh-huh.
tell you the age, and this is probably a 91.
So they have been turned over a couple times.
These are turned over to park too. 1991. This is a 91.
A 91.
91D.
Okay.
D indicates the type of vehicle it is. It's a heavy equipment type of vehicle. Your B would be a pickup, and your C would be another type. And that's the number 570, according to the registration plate that's in there.
Once you drive this for 8 hours,
It's just like a Cadillac.
oh, get out.
I'm serious.
You mean you don't? Do you mean you go home and tell your wife that you had an easy day?
I tell her I had a rough day. And I
Oh,
let her
sure.
drive.
You let her, yeah, sure. But in the Cadillac, you had a rough
Oh,
day.
it's yeah.
But isn't it kind of rough and?
It bounces. We have seats that are adjustable to your weight
Uh-huh.
because it's your home for 8 hours, and sometimes if there's a bad storm, it could be more. And there was a time when 10, 15 years ago when you didn't have these kind of vehicles and you froze, you didn't have heat, you didn't have cabs, nothing worked, everything.
You remember that? Or
Oh,
did
yeah.
your father tell you?
No, I remember
You remember that, huh?
Yeah, I remember that. But now we have them, and we appreciate them dearly.
Uh-huh. So you have several like this too?
We have 4 like this.
Now where are they? Another
They're
building?
up to the igloos. They're
Oh,
stored up there,
An
and some
igloo.
are
Okay.
some are stored in the what the base maintains as a big compound for vehicles that are going to be shipped out.
Uh-huh. You have mechanics who can work on these?
Oh
here?
yeah, we have very, very good mechanics, very effective.
Is there a lot of maintenance or something like
Yes.
this? There is.
A lot of maintenance. This is the blower attachment that I just told
Yeah,
you
look at
about.
this.
That is the
This the same kind of a
same
tractor?
vehicle.
Same vehicle.
But your blower attachment with the fits right on.
My gosh, look at this.
The augers.
Does that chop up the...
Oh yeah.
Well, you wouldn't use this until you get an awful lot of snow.
We windrow it. We push everything to one side and make a windrow, and then they go down with the blower and blow it to the side or into the truck.
So you sometimes put it in trucks and bring it away?
Oh yeah, we've hauled it away.
So you're telling me that you would use this for every storm?
Just about.
I mean, even if you only got 5, 6 inches, it'll pile up.
Yeah, because when they push it off the runway towards the lights, and we have to have our lights clear, then they use this to do the same, to throw it off. Oh, they're beautiful machines.
For up north here. Did you use it much last year? You had a pretty easy winter last year.
Well, we had a lot of snow, and when you consider how much of a space we're pushing,
Yes, that
it
is
adds
true.
up.
That
It
is
adds
true.
up quite a bit.
All
And
right.
you have 2 diesel engines.
2 diesel on one unit?
On each unit has its own drive system. So you'll see a big diesel to the back. You can see the stacks.
Well, now, what do you do with
And
2
the other one
diesels?
to the rear.
Why
runs
2?
this auger. One runs this whole machine.
Yes,
That one right back there.
it propels the
The machine.
unit?
Yeah. The further one back.
Yes,
And then this operates.
the front end
Yeah,
over
and
here.
the-
I see.
There are pins in here that if you're going to do any damage, it will shear the pins first. So it's all a protective system.
Wow.
So if we get any airmen stuck in there, if they don't knock the pins off, we just let them go through. And we look for the blood in the snowbank and find the rest.
Which do you like rather operate? Which of the 3 units here?
I like the plow, the RO10.
The way at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the plow. What's the next? The other one, the scraper here?
The
The-
other one is
The one that the unit here that
that's the blower.
the yellow.
The yellow one is just a regular two-way plow.
Okay. So but the other one, the other end, you
other's
you
an
like to
RO10.
flip that
Roll
thing
over,
around.
yeah.
You like rolling
Well,
it
you
there.
can move, and you move a lot of. You can actually see it fly through the air, and it's. Sometimes that's all you can see. On the runway, see that yellow light up there?
On the top, yes?
Yes. If you look as far from here to that door,
Yes.
and think of nothing but a white sheet, that's what you look for.
You look for those, huh?
If you don't see that, you're in trouble. If you don't see that light of that plow ahead of you, you're in trouble, because you could end up in Salmon River. It's just unreal.
You don't know where
out
you
there.
are, right?
You don't know at all where you are. And the other thing is a urea spreader, and it came out of Germany. It's quite effective.
That's the unit here?
It allows you to, when you don't get a heavy accumulation of snow, to remove ice and other things from the runway, and it meters.
It removes. How does it remove it?
It melts it.
Oh, it spray. You spray it on.
You spray it. It's a urea is a pellet like the farmers use in their field.
Yeah.
And we use a wet process so that it's very, very light. And it just flies all over the place. So we use a wet process with it, and it's an antifreeze type. And you can see it's a double wheel, follows through the bed, and it's wet. Everything is metered. The Germans did a great job here.
And it throws it out.
It throws it. It covers 40 feet and more. It tells you the number of feet that you can cover. Oh yeah, each side, and it wets it as it goes so that it sticks to the runway, and then it heats and wears.
You're watching this program and you see planes flying every day, but you had no idea some of the things that go on in the background like this. We'll be right back. We are watching Hometown Cable, program, of course, called What's Going On Here? I'm Bob Venn, Patrick Brennan. We're talking with Peter Gurnett. He's brought us in here. He's taking a rest over the backside. We'll be right back.
I got to get to my cooking. Make sure that's off.
Well, Pat Brennan introduced us downstairs to another Pat. This is Pat
Gordon.
And he said this is the guy that's in charge here. What's your title, Pat?
I used to be horizontal superintendent.
Horizontal superintendent? What does that mean?
Air Force. And now this is a new park situation, you know.
Uh-huh.
I'm a foreman here.
Okay, so you're already been hired by the new organization. How long have you been at the base?
I got 36 years.
36. Well, you from Plattsburgh?
Keysville.
Keysville, all right.
Been here a long time.
Yes, you have. What gave you the experience to come here? Did you work? You know enough about
Well, my dad had a sand and gravel business in Keysville. Then I went in the Army. I got out of the Army and come back here in 58.
Uh-huh.
58 is when I started temporary here, and I've been here ever since.
The base had just really getting underway by 58,
yeah,
really.
When I come back from overseas, the base was all starting, you know.
And you were always civilian
Oh,
at
yes.
the base?
Yeah,
Okay.
always civilian. We had the
Yeah.
47s and the KC-97s, and it went through the regular tankers, and when we've been through FBs, 111s, and all this. We had all kinds of airplanes here.
Now, what was your department called during the military time here? You horizontal or?
Yeah, well, pavements and grounds. It used to be the old pavements and grounds.
Oh, so you did all the pavements, and the roads, and the grass?
And the grass, and the railroad, and a golf course.
Everything except where the buildings were located.
Right.
Huh?
All the horizontal stuff is done by us. Still is.
Wow, yes. You're going to be able to keep all this grass cut and you still be doing that?
Well, it's not the same criteria as we had before.
Oh, I heard that. If it's 2 inches, you got to get it cut. They used to make Peter cut his. Give him a warning, he told me. If it was over 2 inches long, you know.
But yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But now you can raise it up a little bit because it's it's not quite the same.
All right. We're up into upstairs in the garage or where the
snow barn.
The snow barn. And what do you? It looks like a flight line.
Yeah, this is where.
I don't mean flight line, but it looks like the what do you call the unit where they send all the airplanes from? The tower. Look, you got your own tower here.
Yes, we have our own tower here.
So do you stay in here where it's nice and warm like this, or do you go out?
No.
You go out too?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
If I asked all the employees, would they tell me that too? They better.
They better. This is all air conditioned.
Yes, I see.
And it's all soundproof.
Yeah.
Because when the planes, FBs are sitting right there, you couldn't hear anything if they were jet. But here you can because it's all soundproof.
Okay, as we look out here now, we just saw the plows, and Pat was telling us, and we were talking the other day with Peter Gurnett and also Lieutenant Colonel Peter Glushko, and he said that they pushed most of the snow to this side.
Right here. These are snow beds right here. Between that red truck and the concrete is a
That's
snow
where
bed.
they piled the snow.
Right in here. And in the spring it was built for snow.
Yeah.
Underneath there you could drive a truck down through. There's a big tube under there.
Huh.
It goes right
well,
down
if they pile the snow there, how do you see out in the flight line?
Oh, it doesn't go that high.
You don't get that much snow?
No, you can put 8 foot of snow there. Then you go to the next one. And the next one.
Oh, you do it by sections?
Yeah, you keep piling it on.
Okay, yeah. And then it's the blowers that blow it over onto the land here.
Plow it over here, then a blower.
A blower right on the edge of that pavement. Can it blow it way up to here?
Oh yeah.
It can.
Yeah, you got to move your truck to blow the window out.
Well, I'll tell you, you're not lacking for heat in this building.
No, I can shut it down.
Can you shut that down a little bit?
Definitely.
There, we got it off
Yeah,
here.
heat and air conditioning.
Okay, as we look, Calvin's looking up with the camera up to where the lights are. Why? Oh, you got lights the whole area, of course.
Baseball lights, those lit up the concrete where the planes would park. They're all shining on the airplane.
All from one side, too.
Oh yeah.
All right. What's this next building to our left?
That's they tested jet engines in there. You put a jet engine in there and run it up, you couldn't hear it. It's all enclosed. Back to jet engine and all the jet goes straight up. On this side goes straight up and it hits water. It goes through water and everything.
And that cuts
and you don't hear anything. You hear a little vibration. You feel a little vibration, just a little hum.
Test cell.
Amazing, huh?
It's the old name of it, test cell.
Test cell.
And there'll be nothing. Absolutely. That was built. That's a special building right there. It's really something. It is really something.
Okay, now there's a great big console off here. Want to come over here where you can show me? And now there's somebody in this tower. Want to come over to this side here where you can see? There's somebody here all the time in this room.
In the wintertime when there was snow removal, yes, it was open. We had another radio here for the tower. And this is our civil engineering radio. And this is our tower button. Push this for the tower. And these are all the vents. When you open all the doors, you got to turn the vents on. A lot of fumes in here with these big Oshkosh engines. Have to turn the vents on and pull all the smoke out of here, And these were the heaters and the sprinkler system. And these are the lights.
Okay, and you could talk to each of the plows when they're out there?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
Yes, you have to. You can't go on a flight line without a radio. You got to be able to control them because the planes come and go all the time. There's so much to hit that you have to. And a controller up here, he's watching all the time. It's remarkable in the dark. They all got yellow lights, And you're looking out there and they're pulling the plane from Dock 8. The controller said, hey, they're pulling the plane, kind of watch it, especially in a snowstorm. You can't see anything, And this is never closed down. This base is never closed. This is one of the main features of it. It was always open. We could always land and take off airplanes.
It's hard for me to get what I want to ask you here, but let's suppose it starts snowing here at 11 o'clock this morning, all right? And we're going to get a 6-inch snowfall. What happens from 11 o'clock until the end of the storm? Give me an idea of what you do. When would you first go out with a plow? Do you sweep in the beginning?
We have sweepers. We had snow sweepers.
You swept before it accumulated.
When you can't see the yellow lines anymore. See the yellow lines out there? When you can't see the yellow lines, or when the RCR goes down, you start sweeping. You never stop sweeping till the snow's over.
Oh, all right, that's what I mean.
It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation. It was. When the Air Force was, it's 24-hour, 7-day operation. And you just continue. There's another shift comes on 8 hours later. I mean, right through the whole week, the weekend, it never stops.
So
it never stops.
You're sweeping now until about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, whatever. It starts to accumulate more and more. You can't sweep it anymore.
Plows go ahead of it.
The plows go ahead, and then you sweep behind it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, we're learning, folks.
Well, see, you always got to have a bare runway.
Yes, yes.
Because there's always somebody come in from overseas. Usually they come from England to here. You always got to have a bare runway. It's not one of these things like an old town road where you plow it once, put a little sand on, and forget it. And you don't use sand. You use urea, fertilizer.
Okay.
You always got to have it as bare as that concrete there. The runway's always got to be bare.
Even in the winter, it'll be like that.
Oh, year round.
What do you do when it starts to pack it all? The sweeper's in front.
The sweeper's in front.
So you don't get right over it.
And then as you go along, the truck wheels will start packing, like you say. But the sweeper will usually take it off. If it's warm enough, you can put urea behind it to melt it off. If it isn't, we got underbody scrapers on the snowplows that you pull down.
I saw those.
They're a grater that gets right on the concrete, and that takes it off.
What is the sweeper made out of? The
bristles. Half of it is plastic, half is metal.
Oh, there are metal in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so it's really scraping. Yeah. Does that wear the cement very much?
No.
Does it?
No. And the cement itself has got grooves in it. The runway is grooved.
What's the reason for that? Better traction?
You don't hydroplane, yeah.
Okay.
It works well until you get snow and ice on it. The ice gets in the grooves, then you got a little problem. You know?
And how many units do you have altogether?
Now it's very few now.
Before, when you were operating
yeah,
full.
We had like, let's see, about 18 plows.
So, this is the thing that makes this base very different, say, it's one in Alabama. They don't have that kind of a problem, right?
No. We have around about 69, 70 guys in wintertime here. We did. We don't anymore.
Okay.
We had that many people.
All right, we'll take a very short break. We're talking with Pat. He's these two, what do you call yourself, foreman now?
Yeah.
Foreman now of the horizontal. That doesn't sound right to me, but it means something to you.
Yeah, sure does.
Everything, all the groundwork.
Yeah.
Okay, be right back.
And the pavements work.
We've come up into an office on the same floor as your viewing area there, and we were told about this little poster. Somebody made this picture.
Yeah, Major Pittman, when he was the OM chief, made this picture for Secretary of the Air Force, Mrs. Winhall, to show her how many planes we could park safely at Plattsburgh. And very impressive.
Yes, there's 5 in a row. There's 25 rows of planes. There's nothing where these low.
No.
We're right here. We're in this building right here, and that's what we're looking out. This is west, right here. This is west, not as you would think. So as it shows all the planes they can park on their, what do you call that? You don't call it a runway. What do you call this?
No, the ramp.
A ramp.
Area.
Okay, that's the ramp. We heard about it when they were discussing about the bases. We heard about the ramp, and I didn't really know what a ramp was. That's the ramp where they stored the planes before they would move out here and then go over onto the
runways here.
Runways there.
Yeah.
And you can see that outside, and we got some pictures downstairs that will show it. And of course, Calvin said, you see, they looks like they worship right here. You see what this is? That represents snowflakes, I guess. Correct?
Right.
And then someone in the background said you won a lot of awards.
Oh,
What are you
yeah, we
talking
won
about?
all the snow awards. We keep winning snow awards.
By having a lot of snow?
No. Snow awards is if they have different criterias. How much chemical you use to put down to keep the runways open, how much of the time the runway is open, and how much money you spend for overtime, regular time. All this is factored in, and we've won the Air Force Snow Award. That is the World Snow Award a number of times.
Is that for spending a lot of money or not
No,
spending?
for not
for
spending.
not spending it. Oh.
And, no, like I say, the criteria is more than just spending money. It's
Yes.
keeping the runway open. The main thing was keeping running. The EWO, which is emergency war. We all were always open. We were always open, and we just won last year.
Now,
AMC award last year.
what's AMC? What's that mean? AMC, do you know?
Well, it used to be the old SAC.
Okay.
Mobility Command.
Did they give you some monetary reward for that too?
No.
Oh, you think they give a little reward?
Well, they took us to Buffalo.
It makes you
for a
feel
week.
good.
Yes, yeah. And at Buffalo, they have the snow symposium, which you go with the civilian airports and the military airports. They're all combined in Buffalo for the snow.
Because Buffalo, that's the snow capital.
Yeah,
right.
And they take you around there and show you what's going on.
You could teach them how to take snow off at a reasonable price.
Yeah,
You could show them that.
Yeah.
Do you work extra hours yourself over here overnight when you got a real bad storm?
I don't like to, but I have a beeper that goes off and something happens. I have we did have 3 snow foremen. They're all downstairs.
Okay.
1 for each shift. Plus the weekend foreman, which we used to be an NCO, ran it on the weekend. And sometimes they beat me. I come in. The main thing is in the mornings, if there's a lot of snow, is do we shut the base down that day for a couple hours all day, so that people if I can't get them in the parking lots, you can't come to work.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to stay home, but if I can drive my car or pickup in the parking lot, well, they can come to work. But lots of time we have to shut down, at least for a few hours, because of the ice or the snow. Delayed.
Pat, when's the last time you physically drove something out on the
it was
cement out there?
I do it quick.
Now, come on now.
No. You jump in a plow once in a while.
You
but
do?
They don't pay me to jump in a plow anymore, or they didn't.
You mean they don't pay you as much as those driving? If you make more,
No. They give me a little pickup truck to run around with it.
Yes, but it must be fun to get out there and blow that snow.
Yeah. I go out there. Like I got in there. I was checking one out this summer, matter of fact.
So you're going to be able to keep that. You won't be plowing it off this
No,
winter like that, right?
No.
And it won't hurt it at all by being there. But you'll still be doing all the
Oh, yeah.
roads and the
Yep.
base and so
Yep.
forth.
Yep.
Well, not down in the housing areas, I wouldn't think.
Well, just for fire protection.
Okay. Good point.
You gotta
Good
want-
point.
you gotta-
We got to have fire protection.
Yeah,
That's exact. What's happening today with the fire protection? Do they have anybody here now, or is it the city doing it?
The city's doing it for half of it, and South Plattsburgh is doing it. You would know that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
South Plattsburgh is doing it for the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, they're here.
But
all the
they're
time.
here all the time. They're
Oh, yeah.
physically on base.
Well, they come every hour or two, whatever. I don't know the
Uh-huh.
schedule. But they
So these units were turned over, or have they been turned over yet from the military to the civilians?
well, those units there are turned over to park for us to use. We still have all equipment.
But I mean, yeah, but
Nothing's
it
left to
it
base.
belongs to the PIDC,
Yeah,
owns all
whatever.
this now?
Nothing's left to base. It's still over
Yeah.
there. It's right here. You probably saw it. Did you show it to them?
Yeah.
No.
No, we
all the
didn't.
equipment is still here.
No, we didn't go over that way. We
Nothing
just
is-
barely. We were waiting for the big boss. And I said, "What's his name?" They said, "Pat."
No.
No, that's what they told me. Hey, I can't.
All the equipment. I think one blower or one plow went. Everything else is here. Nothing's left.
Okay.
Nothing's left. Everything is here.
You won't be using all those this year.
These here we will.
Well, you can't use those. Oh, these, but not the others.
No.
They're just
The
for the
others.
storage.
And I don't know what they're going to do with them.
Yeah.
But
Send them
it's
to
still
North
here.
Dakota.
It's the main thing is still here, which is a good sign. to me.
Yes, I would think
It's
so.
all here.
Okay. Take another short break. We're going to move down and see some of the other equipment. The picture is frozen on the screen. It shows one of your plows. What's happening right here,
Well,
Pat?
he's plowing the runway over to the side, and he's going slow. He's stored the lights over there. He's windrowing it up, and he's already back plowed it so that a blower will blow this windrow off. It'll
Okay.
blow over into the field.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's getting over to the edge there now?
Yeah. You notice here all the slush out here.
Yes.
That'll come up with a sweeper.
Sweeper. Now, what does the sweeper do? Does it catch it or just keep throwing it up?
Sweeper kicks
Sweep
to the
it.
side and kicks it off to the side.
It keeps kicking it.
Yes.
Then do you have to plow it when it gets quite a bit of it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. You have
All
to
right.
help.
All right.
Yeah, everything moves right along together.
Yeah, we hope to have somewhere along later here a copy of a video that was taken by
Pete Perrier.
Pete Perrier that will show you some of this in action here last winter or the winter before.
Yeah.
And we hope to have that on. There's another picture coming on here that's very unusual. This unusual picture will take some explanation, Pat. What are they doing here? That looks like there's two of them.
Well, they're side by side, and those are rollover plows, so you can roll them over, so that discharge in are together, and what we call is bucking off, and we get put up a windrow, and like I said, what the picture shows, it's pushing it down. They get together and they take a whole load of snow and bring it down to the edge of the concrete. A blower blows it in the snow beds. And then this is the only base that does this.
Okay. Is it hard to keep two plows like that together?
Well, yeah.
They're shaking their head. Yes, in the background.
Yes.
Huh?
Well,
Gotta
they're
be.
very close.
Yeah.
The
Well, yeah, they're
tires
touching.
and wheel lugs are almost touching on the
Yes.
side of that.
Yes.
Very, very close. You have to be very careful when you're doing that. But these experienced operators we had, we had no problem. No problem. And
Okay.
like I say, this is the only base that did that, and that's one of the reasons we could keep the base
Right.
open so much.
Any part of that on that film we might see?
Yeah.
They
yeah,
did?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
We'll be
definitely,
seeing that
definitely,
too.
Definitely.
We'll try to get a hold of that film.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Good speed to travel.
The sign says tanker maintenance. Another word for hangar, I guess, Peter?
Yeah, this is the tanker maintenance hangar on base, the largest hangar on base. It was called the Black Hangar in its day. Now, presently, before we closed, it was called the Brown Hangar. And this is where an aircraft, actually several aircraft, could be parked inside and maintained, worked on, re-engined, whatever it may be. Of course, with our North Country weather, you really need to be inside a warmer area to maintain an aircraft when it's having some major malfunctions. And this is the hangar. This is, again, the biggest hangar on base, and this is where it was done. This is all the maintenance was performed.
You were telling us that starting right over here where that indentations are in the middle here, that the doors will move so that half of it is all open, right?
Right. Those doors are mechanically opened and closed, and you
Right.
can see there's a center portion that sticks out.
Uh-huh.
Well, you can open up
Way
half,
down, yes.
half the building.
Right. You see, one they're offset so that one goes behind the other.
Right.
And as they come this way, you can also see there's 3 or 4 sections here that 4 sections that all come over behind this area right here.
Right. A lot of folks, this might be familiar to a lot of folks because we had many ceremonies. Whenever we had any ceremonies and there was bad weather, we'd always come to the black hangar, the brown hangar, whatever name you want to call it, depending on its color at the time. We'd always have our ceremonies out here in this hangar.
That you're talking open houses that they've had, right?
Open houses, inactivations, change of commands,
Uh-huh.
any big ceremony that the public was going to come out and celebrate with us, we'd have it right here at this hangar.
Okay. To our left, straight ahead, there's a 2-story building. What is that?
That is another maintenance building. All the buildings you see around here are a specific maintenance building. That
For
was
aircraft.
for aircraft. That was an engine shop where engines would be worked on and repaired inside that shop.
So
inside
you
that
had
big
personnel
building.
that could do all these just like they were very professional.
You have you have people at the base that can do everything on the aircraft.
Huh.
All maintenance, whether it be in shop versus which that building right there, we'd call that in shop, or you'd have your maintenance people out actually doing the work on the aircraft. I specifically used to work on the electronic boxes, the electronic countermeasure boxes, and the building to the left right there was our avionics building. And they would bring the aircraft folks would remove the boxes, bring the boxes to us, and then in-shop folks would
Turn here just in case he gets this, okay?
Okay. Your in-shop folks, which I was one of, would fix the boxes. Then we turn around, give it to the aircraft maintenance people, and they would install and test them on the aircraft. So you had all facets of maintenance operation you could be done on your base.
Now you got a tall building, and there's no aircraft shaped like that, so that's not a place to put any aircraft in.
That was our parachute shop, where we'd hang parachutes to dry and to repair.
Well, what if you didn't use parachutes? You didn't use it very much? What parachutes?
Your parachutes, of course, that your pilots had. Aircraft parachutes that would help slow down and stop the aircraft.
Do they always use the aircraft parachute when they land?
No.
You know what I was seeing the other day? They've got a new thing now, Peter, that a parachute for the plane to guide it down to the ground when something goes wrong. They showed, these are for smaller planes, and it shoots out a parachute and it guides the plane down. A man whose wings broke off and he couldn't get out came out right down with his aircraft, and he walked away.
Well, same thing as our spaceships. When they come back, when they take off as a big, huge spaceship, and when they land, you come down and they're just a little capsule. But that's how they're brought down back to Earth, is with parachutes.
Yeah,
It's the same concept.
Yep. Okay, we're looking back out to the runway. You can see the huts way down where we were last Thursday.
And to give you an idea, that's the north end of the base.
Right. Now, the number 12, is that just a parking area so they know where things are?
Well, all through the whole parking area, you'll see numbers starting at the south end 1 and then working all the way up to north end, and that would be considered row 12.
Okay.
So again, for parking purposes, for maintenance purpose, for any purposes, if you would tell somebody you're going to be on row 12 or row 11, they'd know where you were located.
We saw those in that picture. There were 29 rows, 4 were not used. Again, this area between where we are and the flight line, or what's that first section? The ramp.
The ramp
is where they store the snow.
Yeah, this is out in the grass is where you'd see big mounds of snow all through the winter.
And this is so you figure there are 29, and we're at number 11, so we're nearly halfway either way.
We're about halfway, right.
Now there's a big building at the end. Can you tell us what that might be?
The big gray one?
Yes.
That was called a hush house, and that was also where you would run up engines, jet engines, by themselves. That's where they could be worked on, repaired, and they'd be ran up.
So they get it out of the air for noise?
Right. They test them.
Uh-huh. Lots of pavement in here. Miles and miles of roads within the base. And here's this great big building. We were hoping to be able to get in, but everything is locked tight.
Yeah, we were kind of lucky to get into the snow barn.
I thought that was great. We're going to go back there. They were breaking for lunch. We're going to go back and talk with Pat Gordon again later on. But we come out here to see what else there is in the area. Anything else we should know about here? What a beautiful sight with the Adirondacks all around us. Well, on one side anyway. Red Hill, I guess, is up there. That must be Red Hill. That's not a mountain. Straight ahead of us over the top of number 12. That's probably Red Hill area.
To the south, we have
Metamora.
To the south, we have more maintenance buildings. You have your control tower. You have your airfield fire station. Of course, we can't forget fire protection.
Right. We got fire hydrants right here. There must have been a lot of people who worked on the flight line or the maintenance buildings in this base.
Absolutely, lots. I think probably during our high period, you had like 3,000 Air Force people out here. I don't want to say out here, but on base.
Yes. And you would have over half of them here. Now, that's your flight tower?
That's your control tower.
Control tower is what it was. Pardon?
We'll go down further.
Okay. Again, if we're still on, Calvin, you see the heat pipes running along the ground. And remember, it was real warm where we were in that last office. And that heat all comes from one building, right? All generated in one place.
Central heat plant that makes the hot water and sends the hot water all to all the various locations on the new base.
Right, and we're going to be looking at that building later.
In 2 seconds.
Calvin is standing on his station wagon about 2 feet from the glass, trying to get a shot into the hangar itself. I'm down below. The windows are at least 9 feet high, so he's standing and trying to get a shot. A lot of reflections here, folks, but just give you a general idea of what the inside looks like of this great big hangar. I'll see it for the first time myself. That's the window that Calvin was looking through. You can see he's right over the top of the car. He also now has a what they call a countersunk or a concave roof on his car here a little bit. But right over here is what concerned us the most. Restricted area, see? And use of deadly force authorized. That's not the man with the camera authorized. The person who sees the camera. See? We're here, of course, with permission. There's nothing here restricted much anymore, is there?
No, there's nothing left.
Oh, there's the plane going over the top. He said, "Why wouldn't it be nice to land there?" That's going to the Plattsburgh.
To the county airport.
Yep.
But back when we were operational, you needed permission from the wing commander, from the installation commander, to bring a camera out here.
Of any kind, right?
Any,
yes.
Still or video.
Okay. Well, right over here, we noticed, but that there is a little air vent here. Not quite. We cannot crawl through there, but we'll just get some kind of a shot through there. As to what's going on inside.
You'll see a lot of roofing material in there because the roof on this building was just replaced.
Empty space.
You'd wonder, you know, how long this base could sit in its condition, that if it were ever used again, how much, you know, how long it could sit like this without making a major overhaul, you know? Like if it were like this for a year or two and they decided to come and open something, it would be awfully tough probably, huh?
Well, it depends on what they're going to use the base for and how well it was closed down initially.
Uh-huh. Of course, like you said, they got the roof fixed, so it's not going to be leaking in the roof. You see all the buildings. All this is within a big fence, right? All the all these buildings are within a fence within the base, and even personnel on the base couldn't come in here freely.
No.
They had to have authorization, even though they were in the military.
Anyone that was allowed to come on this side of the fence had to wear a line badge, and your picture was on it, and it also had the level of authority, the level of area that you could go within this area also. You couldn't just go anywhere you wanted with that one line badge. It had different levels of authority.
And there were people in here watching, too? There were security people
Sure,
roaming?
you had your security police.
Okay, watching to see what badges and where you could go.
With our police system, you have really two types. You have law enforcement and you have security police. Security police were actually to secure the assets. Law enforcement are just like your folks downtown. Those were your patrolmen, your cops.
Okay. What happened when an airman was arrested downtown for whatever? Disorderly conduct or whatever? Was he brought in?
It happened once.
It happened what?
He would face downtown.
Yes.
But then when he got back to base, usually your squadron, your first sergeant would have to come and get you at downtown, because normally your police downtown or your civilian police wouldn't release an airman until the first sergeant came down and got him. And then he would face the music when he got on base.
Okay. It'd be another problem.
Right.
Then he might have to go back and face the city police again.
Oh yeah, he'd have to go down and just like just like you would. He'd face the
they wouldn't
city
let the air base take care of it. They would have to answer to them.
Usually you'd have to answer to the civilian police.
Okay. Not a big problem, I don't think, in the area. Of course, you have the normal things that happen, but they were never a big problem in the community. I don't think the air base.
So people are human.
Yes. Okay, we'll be right back. There are more people out there who have never seen this shot before than who have seen it, right, Peter?
I believe so.
Very few. This is the flight tower, Plattsburgh Air Force Base, EL-235. What's that mean, do you know?
It's the elevation. We're 235
elevation.
feet above sea level.
Okay. Global reach. And this is the control tower that ran all the planes, correct?
This is the control tower. We're at the south side of the parking lot right now, the parking area for the aircraft. And there's your control tower.
In other words, the planes were sitting here in the ramp, and they would say, number 67, you can now proceed, and they go down and enter into the flight, what I want to say, the actual flight line.
They would taxi down
to
your hammerhead, which is the beginning of the runway, and then they take off. They'd get permission, just like a civilian airline, just like a civilian airport would be controlled. Same thing.
How many people would work in there at one time? Any idea?
About 8.
8 people? Mm-hmm. Oh, I had no idea.
Yep.
So there's planes landing quite often than they were before.
Oh yeah, we were open 24 hours.
Yes, but they were. Wow.
Plus, we also had to be available for any emergency landing that anyone else would possibly need, any civilian.
Okay, just off to our left here is a welcome site, I guess you said, when dignitaries came in?
Yeah, whenever we had anyone come into the base that any of our big folks, any government officials, any Air Force officials, they would park out here, and that'd be probably the first thing they'd see is the welcome sign, welcome to Plattsburgh Air Force Base.
Well, they probably came in by plane, right?
Yes, sir.
And so they were right here anyway. And I guess there's nothing on there now. It's just a billboard where they would put up the information. Welcomes, and they had their name.
They'd have their name.
Right. Now, you told me that's that flight.
That was called the Hush House, and that's where you'd run up
House.
engines.
What's that big
Aircraft
apparatus outside for?
The doors.
Oh, that's where the doors open. Of course. Wow.
The doors would swing open. Again, those are one-piece doors.
Huh.
You see right out here to the right, this funny painted area with the stars, and
right.
That's basically where they would touch right down, and there'd be a ladder there. And
Red carpet right out.
Get the red carpet.
Let's go get the red carpet drink.
Oh yes, we will do that. Now, to let you know which way to go, because you follow those arrows. No, they aren't. It looked like arrows at first.
Actually, those are to resemble trophies.
Oh ho! Oh yes, the 5 trophies that they won.
The 5 Fairchild trophies that we won.
Yes. There's the dates too: 78, 73, 64. And this is where you came off, right here with the red, and right straight into the flags that were flying, and so forth. No.
This is the red carpet.
We'll give that view.
Okay. The home of champions. Oh, they wanted the big ones to know about it, huh?
Well,
Remind them.
we were the home of the champions.
This is what you
Best of the
see
best.
today, that before too long you may see a lot more. So the plane would taxi up here, I guess, and there's straight into the welcome.
Radar, that thing up there.
Yeah, that's radar.
Is this building over there?
Those are your fuel stations, fuel pump stations.
Oh.
Because you have your fuel hydrant systems all out in this parking lot, and those buildings contain the pumps.
They can fuel from all along here?
They can fuel, defuel.
Like this is one right here, maybe?
Yeah, that's one right there.
I never thought about that. Intake, I guess, is
Well, I'm not real positive on exactly how it was, which one was in, which one was out.
all this is underneath this
These are
Runway.
hydrants.
They were like that
That's where you park your 120 planes.
right here, yes.
Yeah, you had these receptacles all along the area.
Yeah.
You see them all out there.
Okay. This is number 2 where we are right here. 3, number 1 is first line is right over there. And they had all their planes parked here. And now, when they were parked here during a snowstorm, there might have to be some work to move all those to get the snow off, huh?
Well, they wouldn't actually take the snow off them unless they were going to fly that day.
Okay.
They eventually, of course, would all get cleaned up, but there was an immediate response unless they were flying that day. And then you had big trucks that were called de-icers. And what they would do is they would spray the de-icing liquid on the aircraft to clean them off, and also to prepare them for flight so that they wouldn't freeze up, ice up on the way up.
The tanker hangar you can see way back.
Tanker maintenance
Yep,
hangar.
it's the 3rd building down.
Yeah.
And it's just huge. You can't imagine how big this is. Well, you see that other number 2 way over there. That's the rest of the ramp, right?
That's all
Now,
the
this
ramp
is-
and also the taxi area.
Right. When they were talking about the bases here about 3 years ago, and they were talking about the New Jersey number of ramps they could store, they couldn't store any more than I think it was 30 or 40 planes or something like that with a ramp. They had to keep moving them all the time.
You also you always heard ramp space, ramp space, ramp
Yes.
space, and this is it. The
This
ramp
is ramp
space
space.
was the available space that you had to park aircraft. We could safely park 120 aircraft out on this ramp. Now that safely parking mean they could come and go, all those 120 jets. If we had an evacuation, if one of the southern bases were evacuating for hurricanes or tornadoes, anything, we could park a lot more here just to park them, to get them a place
Yes.
to stay.
Because there was room to move out when all the rest were parked
Right.
to taxi away. The way up, probably 1.5 miles, are those the huts
Yep.
for the FB 111s and the tower that we went up into.
That's probably safe to say about 1.25 miles up there.
Okay. Now that tower is part of probably Imperial.
I think that tower right there is the tower you see when you're getting off the exit and going to be right next to the mall.
Okay, way up there.
Way up
Water
there.
tower you're talking about?
I think that water
That-
tower way
that
up
one
there.
went to the left of the
The water tower.
yes,
Right. That bluish.
the water tower. Yes,
I think that's the
a
one you're
long way off.
getting. Right.
I'll tell you, I was up into Canada yesterday, up near Iberville, over east of St. John, and that is just like a pancake up there, just as flat as you could see for 3, 4, 5 miles. It all just as flat as anything.
It seems as soon as you get over the border, it becomes
It's just
really,
real flat. The glaciers did a good job. And there's the two mountains up there. You can see plateau just stuck right up in the air.
I don't know if Calvin has shown yet, but of course, with any airport, you have to have fire protection. And the fire station, they airport. I want to say airport fire station. It was right there.
The 5 doors?
The 5 doors, right. And you'll see it's between row 4 and 5.
Uh-huh.
And again, you had to have specialty fire protection out on the runway because you used a lot of foam and whatnot. But we had two fire stations on base. You saw the one when we first started our tour. You saw the one on the old base. That was fire station 2, and then you have this fire station right here. But this is the runway fire station.
So are the fire trucks still in there?
I believe so, yes.
For the foam and everything else, huh?
Again, with the president's new plan on, closing an Air Force base, or closing any military installation for that purpose, is that everything that the community possibly could use for reuse stays here.
Yeah, that was different at Pease. When they closed Pease, Pat Gordon was telling us he went up there and requisitioned what he wanted. Sweepers, and took them and brought them to this base.
Yeah, all the bases around a closing base would go and have a free-for-all, basically.
Yep.
But now with the president's new plan, everything stayed in place. And back in those days, it used to take 5 to 6 years to close an Air Force base, versus nowadays, you're closed in less than 2 years.
Yep.
As we've shown
As we found out here.
Right.
And then when they close it, the guy who helps to close it just leaves and goes home like this man is going to do. November 10th, right?
9th or 10th, depending on when Veterans Day falls.
Oh, you have a choice.
Well, depending on how the holiday falls.
All right.
Being a government employee, I still get the holiday.
You get the holiday, right? Yeah, you don't want to get off on the holiday, right?
Oh, have to get off the day before.
One more. Oh, the day after.
Day before.
Why the day before?
Why not?
I thought you get out the day after and you get paid one more day.
That's Saturday.
Oh, all right. We'll be moving along, see some more buildings or whatever here.
I'm going to take the VIP walk, though.
We're going to take the walk. Okay. This is the way it was.
This is the way a general or a congressman, as soon as he got off the aircraft, this is what he'd see. Of course, the paint would be much better condition. There wouldn't be all these scrape marks and whatnot. But you'd see, first of all, the home of the champions.
Uh-huh.
And next you'd see our wing logo, 388th Air Refueling Wing.
And then the 5 Fairchild.
And you see the 5 Fairchild, starting off with 84.
You can see your name up there, being welcomed.
And then you
88, 87, 76, and I think it was 74, or whatever the first one. And then it says, welcomes you here. And then they would take it from here to the base with vehicles they brought in, special.
And of course the wing commander would be out here, and all the group commanders welcoming.
A lot of personnel?
Yeah, depending on who the official was, sure.
Okay. Remember, this was all sand out here before. This is it was a sandy area, just southwest of the Peru Street, Plattsburgh. A little closer view of the control tower. Elevators in here, I take it?
Yes.
And you got to remember, not only does the base consist of what you can see, what we've showed you, but an awful lot is underground too. There's a lot of pipes and everything, water pipes and all of the excess water running off.
Your sewer.
The sewers, everything, all the way through here. There's so much more. It's a city in itself. It's a city in itself,
Yes,
right?
yes, it is.
Absolutely self-sustaining. 8 people, he said, up there at one time. What do they use the catwalk around down before for? Anybody just come up there and just look?
Yeah, just viewing.
Because there was some more windows there. There must be another office there.
Office space.
Yep. The rest of it was hollow, just the elevator going up, right? Nothing else was used for. Right behind here, directly behind this building, you said something very important.
A little further back, the golf course.
9-hole golf course, and it was one of the first things leased.
It's now, I believe, called the Barracks Golf Course.
So
Yeah, it was the first lease for the PIDC or park, whatever you want.
It was operated this summer, I understand, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. There was a little article about it in that special paper the other day, last Sunday's paper. Okay, we've changed seats. I'm behind the driver's wheel. Calvin is looking out the right hand or the passenger side. He's stuck out with the camera outside the window, and we're going to ride the ramp area to the end and just give you an idea how long it takes and what it is. We're at 13.8 on our mileage, and Peter's in the back seat. Peter, are you ready?
I sure am.
Okay, we're going to take off and drive relatively slow, and you could just get an idea of
the enormous size of this.
the size, and this is only probably a mile shorter than the actual ramp. Not the ramp, the
Runway.
The runway itself, which we're not allowed to be on. So that's over to the west of us.
Right, we're starting at the south side of the parking ramp at row 1, and we're heading north.
And we're on the east side of the whole field here.
We're on the east side of the parking lot, right. And your runway would be out to the west side. And what I think we're looking at right now is we're probably coming up and looking at the big hangar, tanker maintenance hangar, the brown hangar. And you can get a real feel for how much concrete and the distance of things. You can see all your runway lighting out there, all your large towers with big like football field lights on it.
And this is really the road to go up and down where people would drive, correct?
Right.
That we're on right now?
This is actually the road that we're on right here.
Okay.
We're traveling at about 20 miles an hour.
Is that too fast, Cal?
No, it's fine.
No, fine. We've been about a half a mile now. And remember that we'll be going down up to, I think, 29 with the markers. We're at number 8.
All these buildings, all these hangars and buildings you see are all maintenance buildings. Whether it be aircraft, whether it be vehicle maintenance, operations, but it all has to do with the actual purpose of the Air Force Base here.
But strictly for the flight line, most of it.
Strictly for flight line and aircraft.
Right, not the maintenance of the houses or anything like that.
Right. The base is pretty much divided up. You have your new base and you have your old base. Your new base was really the operational side, and your old base was more support side.
I was going through a book last night of the college that I had, and there were actually 3 commencements here. First one, it was in June, I believe, of 52, the one where I graduated at, and then there was one in the January of 53 and then June of 53. That was the end of it. So probably less than 1,000, probably no more than 1,000 to 1,500 graduates ever. And of those, maybe 300 people bought rings. So I have one of the rings. We're now approaching a mile and still going. And you're getting an idea that very few people. You look over there, you see the windows. That's the building we were in for the road maintenance.
Yeah, that's the snow barn.
The snow barn. Some more maintenance buildings. Security. Security's in that area.
Yeah, one of these buildings in here was for security.
Now, when you get up further here, you can't see it from the camera, but we're right opposite pretty soon of the huts, where the standby planes were, and that is all also enclosed in a fence, even more security.
Yeah, that's your alert facility that we were in.
Right, and that's completely enclosed in a fence. That round hole in the barn, you said, is to let the end of the aircraft stick out?
The back, probably about the back quarter section of the KC-135 could stick out there. And of course they'd be doing some kind of maintenance on the forward part of the aircraft.
Uh-huh. And straight ahead is the alert building, way down with the tubes running to it, where we went up into one of those tubes, or two of the tubes. It's unfortunate we can't show you inside, but you can't see inside because we can't get inside.
Of course, there's Route 22.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead.
But we're very appreciative of you, Peter, and the Air Force. I think you still got permission from them, plus the new people, to do this. We got security in our tail, I think, behind us here.
Yeah.
So we picked up security. And we've now got a mile and a half, and we're very quickly getting to the end. Was this a tunnel to get in at all, Peter, here?
I believe that was for some storage for different aircraft carts.
Right. Is he blowing to us?
Yeah.
Okay, we got security stopping us. Okay, we're on, Peter. We just got stopped because what we're doing out here, if we got permission to be out here.
Yes, we got permission. That was the security people that are presently watching over the base. They're not military folks. It's a local company that's been contracted. And they just came out to make sure that everything was hunky-dory, what we're doing out here.
Yeah, he said, what are you doing out here? And I said, well, we're trying to get the links of the field. He said, what do you want to do that for? Well, because they just want to show you people. So it is being watched out here. And they saw this car going to full length, probably thinking we were lost.
Probably thought we landed and we weren't authorized.
Oh, right. We're looking due north, just north of the flight line. Peter, what's all the orange apparatus for?
It's all your approach lights. Approach to the runway. We're at the north side of the runway right now, and just south of us is the actual runway. But these are the lights that the pilot would line up as aircraft for to come in to land. The approach lighting.
So he would try to get as close over the top of this as possible as he came in. And you have the same thing at the other end too?
Right, yes.
If you come in from the south.
Yeah.
And we just came on this road around the outside of the flight line, which is between the flight line, or the landing area, flight line, I guess, and the Route 22. To just to show you what's on the other side of the base. You can see the base way over, looking east.
This is the perimeter road.
Perimeter road, where the security would patrol, obviously, too.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Yes, this is a very... And then there's a whole group of these orange lights right here where they centered, and we'll take a walk over the top of this hill and let you see the flight line. I don't understand what all these orange things are for here. That just to help you get centered too?
I know that there used to be some kind of a catch.
Huh.
Some kind of catch for gear, but I don't know if this is part of it. And I don't know if this base had it.
Don't know what this is either. Don't know what this is right here for sure. These are plastic. They aren't a whole bunch. Surprise, surprise. We thought we were going to get up here and see the runway, but we're not. But here's, you're looking over at the approach. And then Calvin was standing on that white box right there before. And then it comes across and you see more lights with more grass. So it's quite a ways to the actual beginning of the flight line.
Well, runway.
Runway, rather.
That's your runway there.
And it's real wide, isn't it?
Oh, yes. It's a little over 2 miles long.
And you follow these lights, and probably the orange, as Calvin was saying, and probably a good guess, so you can see it in the daytime. And there's a lot of equipment here in the ground, which may have been electronic equipment to help them with electronic landings. Huh?
Right. There's associated with an airport or runway or any flying systems, you are always going to have lots of antennas and lots of communication systems. And my guess is a lot of these cement platforms out here were different receivers, antennas, and different transmitters, different communication systems, because you have a lot of conduit over there.
Yes.
That looks like a lot of wires and coming in and out of. So that's my guess. I've never been out here before in this specific area.
You got to remember that there are highways in the skies, and there's a beam that they fly. When you get off that beam, you don't hear it anymore, and that's where they know exactly where they are, and they're flying at different levels. When you go east and west, and I think they're at the odd, and when you go north and south, they're different heights,
Right.
east and west, so that you won't be on the same level and run into each other.
Elevation, azimuth.
Exactly. So these are some of the things probably that this may be for, and you get some kind of a pattern to know if it's so bad you can't see that you're all right. Then you'll hit the runway right up there, and then you've got 2 miles plus.
Slow down and stop.
Takes a long time, and to take off too, right?
Take off, right?
There's that perimeter road, you called it, security road,
Perimeter road.
right around. We're going to go up in the back and see what's over there. What'd you call that, the MS? The 7 buildings over there?
There's the weapon storage
Weapon
area.
storage,
And
W.
there's also a firing range out here.
Okay.
And not real
We'll
sure.
just give
what
you an
else.
idea, because it's this is what I was mentioning before the air base got here. This is what the terrain looked like here. It was scrubby like this. There wasn't an awful lot of grass. There was a lot of sand. It was all sand out here. A lot of blueberries. We used to go picking blueberries out here. I think I mentioned that last week. And this is what it looked like. It was Champlain Hotel, now Clinton Community College, Peter, up on the hill. You could tell us what we can see from there. Come out forward and get us over to the tower, and then maybe back to the left.
Got the first, right after the college, you see, of course, the control tower. And then the firehouse, maybe not too distinguished, but of course you can see the maintenance hangar, the big brown hangar
brown
there.
one, yes.
And then we further go north to all the different maintenance facilities. And of course you see our water tower, the base water tower. The Tavees, where the FBs used to be parked during the alert days.
Look over the background, you see all the mountains of Vermont.
How pretty it is.
It's beautiful. It's hazy over there, but yes, you got your 9 or 10 of your hangars there for the, okay. And you got security.
Of course, you have your security buildings, your operations, and then you have your alert facility, the Spider Light building.
Okay. Way over here to the end, you can see that orange network of the approach where we were standing. And then you got a lot of yellow lines out here, Peter. A blacktop. What is that?
Now, that's actually the end of the runway, or the beginning, depending on how you're taking off and landing. But out here, you see this big patch of concrete right out here.
Yes.
And
Off
that,
over to the right, yes.
right out there. That in the old days was called the hammerhead, and that's where they would sit and wait
Wait right
until
out
they were
there.
directed to be put out onto the runway for takeoff. And of course, there's a hammerhead on the south side of the runway.
Okay. Then the runway itself takes right off there.
Your runway.
That's all cement. And straight down.
For a little over 2 miles.
It's a great shot. And we're getting more and more of them. Of course, my first view of this also, as well as Calvin. You been out here before, Peter?
I've been out here, but I've
Never looked like this.
I've never really taken any notice of the way it looks today.
You know what it is? Many things we have at home, and we don't notice it until someone points it out to us. Our beautiful, the trees, the lake there in Shazy, so forth.
Well, another very unique part about this picture is that it's empty.
Absolutely.
There's no aircraft out there.
It's eerie. It's an eerie feeling.
Yep.
Looks like you've come back and everything's been just disappeared. Quiet. This is not a repeat. You have not seen this before. When you're looking at the south end of the approach now, correct?
South end of the runway.
And there's the approach, and right over next to those trees, there's a road goes across. That's the South Junction Road that goes from Salmon River over to near where the Royal Savage is.
Right,
Comes
goes from
out.
Route 22 to Route 9.
Right.
Right.
It goes right across, and you see the planes used to land. And there's looking north at the end of the taxi area first, or is this part of the runway right there?
This is not actually, the line area that you're seeing right there is the beginning, but
The
it's
beginning.
not really where they would touch down.
Okay, touchdown beyond where the yellow lines are.
Beyond, right.
That kind of points them in there, those arrows.
Yep.
And you can see that building way over to the right, the first one. That's where the silent building you said is called?
The Hush House.
The Hush House.
Right.
You can see how far, that's where we made our run on the pavement before, and we're this much further south. That's there, another half mile or more.
Oh, yeah.
I
Easily.
forgot how long we were. When we got stopped by security, it was about a mile and 7/10, I think it was.
I think it was a little over a mile and a half.
Yeah, and then this is the additional here because of the, and there's nothing else out here, just a road that circles it.
Lot of dirt and grass.
And you can see this is, you aren't going to raise many crops in this sand out here.
Now, they don't normally put a Air Force base or any military installation where it's prime land.
Right.
It's usually swamp country or...
You didn't have to take too many hills down here either. I think it was pretty flat, right straight through.
Was it?
Buildings all off to the right, all within the flight area. Maintenance buildings. Over in the left, we went by some of the auxiliary buildings to take a ride to get out at this end. Hope you're enjoying this tour of the Plattsburgh Air Force Base. And of course, we're indebted to this man right here, Shay Z. Not a native, but he sure loves Shay Z. Peter Garnett. He's got a family of 2.5 at home, right?
Well, are we including my wife
Yes.
and Peter and our new baby?
Is it baby born yet?
It's gonna nope.
That's the
baby,
half.
The baby girl, hopefully.
That's the half.
That's the half.
When is he expecting?
The 20th of February.
Oh yeah, you go about a half. All right, so 2.5.
Supposedly, they tell us it's going to be a little girl.
Okay.
I'm shooting for Annie for her name.
Annie? Oh well, Shay Z's kind of famous for Annie.
My wife's got a different name in mind.
Uh-oh. What do you do in a case like that, Peter?
Probably flip a coin.
No, I think, well, I know it's going to happen, but I won't tell you until afterward. We know what's going to happen, eh, Calvin? When we talk about names like that, when there's a difference between a wife and a husband.
Well, I picked my son, so I guess it's only fair that I picked my daughter, too.
Okay, we're going to move back out, and we want to show you the heating building. What do we call it?
Plant.
Heat plant, and maybe a couple other things. We go off onto the old base, go back to his office area. Anything else you can think of, Calvin?
Well, we may be showing that now. We may have already shown it. We don't know.
Oh yeah, we're
Heat plant.
this show is in 3 parts, so it may be a little confusing with what we are saying, but I understand it's going to be the old base, the new base, and the flight line is a separate show. Okay, we'll show you some more of the new base. I'm not going to put down people, Peter, but this is probably the most important building in the new base as far as personnel is concerned.
If you want to keep warm, this is the most important.
You got to
building.
have this. In the north, you don't worry. I like air conditioning, but you need this, right? The central heating plant, which heats every building that needs heat in this whole new base.
On the new base, this supplies hot water for every building.
Does that include the water, domestic hot water, too?
That's domestic and heating.
Unbelievable. So there are big boilers in here.
Right,
Got to be real big ones.
right.
And they come out of these pipes, and there's a feed and a return, correct?
Yep,
Each
supply and
direction.
return. You got
Yep.
it.
And they are all around the base. Now that, it seems impossible. I used to look at this and figure, of course, the pipe isn't anywhere near that big inside, folks. There's an awful lot of insulation in there.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of, most of the pipe is above ground, but whenever you go under any roads, it shoots under the road and then
Uh-huh.
goes back up. A majority of the pipe is above ground, and again, that's easier to maintain.
Do you know whether they have along the way pumps that repump it?
Yes, you
They do, huh?
You do have pump stations.
Booster pump
But
stations.
you don't have any other heating
No,
stations.
you have to boost it because you couldn't push the water probably that far. And across the road, directly across, are the tanks for the storage.
Those are the fuel heating, the fuel that's used for the heating plant. Those are the storage tanks right there.
Right. You'll notice it's the embankment of cement. They got a new law now that says if you're going to have tanks above ground, or anywhere, I guess you have to have a barrier so that if they spring a leak,
Yeah, a rupture
it will
or
be
spill.
contained.
Yep.
If you remember when we did the Shazy School with their new boiler, they said like a pool, cement inside the building. As we look around, I guess there's not much more we can tell you about the heating plant, right? That's it?
No, we have, I think you're looking at the vehicle maintenance buildings right now, Transportation Squadron. That's where all vehicles on base were maintained, repaired, washed, and cleaned, and then you have some more office space down there, again, for Transportation Squadron.
Now, transportation, a lot of vehicles are maintained here, kept here.
Right.
And if you need a vehicle to do something, you'd come and you requisition it
Right.
and take it and go on a trip and come back, bring it back.
Right.
Right? Much like renting a vehicle.
Right.
But you don't pay.
Most organizations on base had a vehicle assigned to them permanently.
Right.
And then, of course, you had the loaner fleet, which, if you're
Right.
moving an office or whatnot and you needed a temporary vehicle, you'd come over and sign it out.
Okay. Then if you needed it repaired, you could get it repaired. They give you a loaner while you're being repaired.
Right.
You know?
If your
it was your own.
assigned vehicle is broke, yeah, you'd get a loaner, of course, for it.
Okay.
Lots of I couldn't even tell you how many vehicles on base.
Yeah.
But every vehicle from a station wagon or a ATV, for that fact, right on up to tractor trailers to snow blowers you've seen to you name it, school buses, everything. There's vehicles for everything.
Okay. Well, we have been here 2 different days. We've seen 4 or 5 people besides yourself. And we certainly appreciate again, Peter, your friendliness, your knowledge, and your time.
It was very informative for me. I learned a lot of new things. It was nice having some other people being able to talk to and get their insights and their specific specialties. So we had a big picture. Unfortunately, I don't know everything about the base, so it was nice having those folks to talk to.
When Calvin first called you, did you think it was going to be a 15-minute project or something?
Oh no! When I talked to Calvin, I knew it was going to be a long one.
You've seen Hometown Cable.
I sure have. Well, no, not the fact that it would take a long time because of you two gentlemen. Just that it's such a big area to cover.
We tried to cover whatever we could and show you whatever we thought was interested, something that you thought might be interesting, even though we didn't think it was. And we got a pretty good story, I think, about what has been here, what is here now. And we don't know much about the future. We can't give you much speculation on that.
Nope.
Is it PIDC or PDIC?
Well, it's now the park. Folks
the park it's called. Okay.
The park.
And the park is now in the process of trying to lease this out. The big air base 9-hole golf course has been leased.
Yeah.
Other things pending. We hope you've enjoyed the trip. If you see Peter on the road, around Shazy or anywhere, tell him how much you enjoyed the program if you did. And maybe if you got any questions, you could ask him. He'll be a civilian by then, probably.
Yes, I will be.
And you don't have to answer questions anymore then.
I'll still answer
You
them.
still answer them. All right. This is going to be in 3 parts. Now, Calvin's going to put this together so he can divide it up. We think the old base is no problem. The new base is a problem because we've tied in the flight line along with some of the other things, and we're going to try to separate those out so it'll be in one on the flight line, one on the new base, and one on the old base. Old base first, Calvin? I take it? Old base first, then the new base, and then the flight line? Probably in that order. It'll be 3 consecutive Sundays, we think, along with some other programs. 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 20 minutes of something every day from Hometown Cable. 5 times, 12:30, 4:15, 8 p.m., midnight, 8 the following morning. You'll be able to watch in the morning from now on if you want.
Sure.
You won't have to come to work here like this.
I'll be able to relax, huh?
You can stay home, take care of the new baby.
I'll be getting a check from you once a week then, huh?
There you go. You'll give me, they call it residuals, I think. Is that what they get it? You call it, Calvin, with residuals. It really has been, and we're very pleased to bring this to you. We think it's a very historic thing because we certainly know it's a historic base, and we hope you've learned a lot about the base. And if you may want to find out more, and if you do, talk to people who know more than we do. There are a lot of people who've worked here. There are books. They're historians, and if you find out something you think we should know, give me a call. I'll be glad to. Oh, by the way, I want to thank Dolly Pettinger at the breakfast this past Sunday morning at Rouse's Point. We went to the fireman's breakfast. She said, Bob, you were asking who those two kids were with the Yehudi Ashman. It was Maxine Breedberg on the right, and the boy was, I forgot his first name, but it was Fisk. I've forgotten his first name already, but I have it written home on the picture. Thank you very much, Dolly. And anybody else out there, when we mention something, if we say it wrong, let us know. If we ask, we're looking for information, please give us a call. Bob Venn, Calvin Castine with the camera, Peter
Garnett.
Shazy, New York. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for watching all things here on Hometown Cable. And one more thing, if you're not already, become a patron to Hometown Cable. $12 or more once a year. Keep this kind of thing coming to you if you like it. And I suppose in passing, I should mention one more thing, and that is the very unfortunate news that we got on Monday morning of the passing of Franklin Forbes. We had the opportunity to meet him just 2 weeks earlier. We had him on all day Sunday, and the next morning to hear that he had passed away came as a shock and an extreme disappointment to me, who I've known him only a very short time. I never talked to him before. We are so indebted to Mr. Forbes, and we got a little record of him now, and you people out there who have expressed your sorrow to us and your pleasure of our having talked to him, we appreciate your comments very much, and our sympathy to his family.